Now, the fireworks are expected to return alongside the Independence Day Parade, which is also making a comeback this year. The return comes under new fireworks legislation passed in December 2025, introducing tighter rules governing its use. Tunapuna-Piako Regional Corporation Chairman Josiah Austin is accusing the government and its agencies of bullying the corporation by continuing work on the controversial police post at the Eddie Hart Recreational Ground in Tagarigua. Austin confirmed the corporation served a 5-day violation notice on the occupiers of the facility last Friday. He said they have until this Friday to respond. While supporting the added security the post could bring to park users, nearby residents and businesses, Austin said the corporation should have been consulted before work began.
We were just asking for basic consultation. As I've continued to say, we are all for this. There are other parts of the region where this is taking place, and we have not stopped. So it shows that we are all for it. But right here, which is vested under the corporation, they are doing this. And no level of consultation, no level of respect. They're here, it's a puppy show. And we just would like to have them know that, consult with us.
This has been Headline News. Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and for comprehensive coverage in our midday news and major newscast at 7 p.m. on CNC3.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Brew, everyone. I'm Ryan Beechu, sitting in for Jason Williams this morning and for the rest of this week while Jason attends Canto Conference in the Bahamas. I do thank my colleague Bhavita Gopalchan for being here on Monday and Tuesday. I had 2 rest days off. It's great to be back, though, and it's great to be in your company in a country that is marching towards Independence Day. And we're marching towards it very quickly. We're heading towards the first half of this month of August. I hope that you've been having a great August. I know for the students that are still asleep and still going through their Java vacation, that they have a couple more weeks before they head back to school. I hope that they are enjoying it. It's been an interesting start to the week here in Trinidad and Tobago, particularly as it regards to the former ArcelorMittal steel plant being reignited, resurrected, reimagined. And that's going to be an interesting venture for the government, this industry. And there's some really interesting analysis taking place in the top stories of today's Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper. And what I like about it is not just the economists weighing in, but we also have my colleague from South, Sasha Wilson. She also visited that area in Point Lisas and spoke to former ArcelorMittal workers, spoke to residents around the area, spoke to business owners around the area. And also we have some analysis as well on the challenges that this particular industry will face as it moves closer towards reopening. Let's start with the economists. The economists are saying that this could be a foreign exchange earner. This could be good for the economy. However, the government should also read the fine print into what is required from Pinnacle and other investors in this steel plant. Interestingly, metallurgist Professor Clement Imbert makes some really interesting points, and I'm going to read just a little bit of it. What he's questioning is the mineral, which is used in specialty steel, aerospace applications, and battery technology, is expected to form part of the plant's new industrial role beyond its traditional steel-making operations. Now, Professor Clement Imbert is questioning how the country will produce the vanadium, where the raw material will come from, and whether there is enough energy capacity to support the ambitious plans. Those are very good concerns. Those are valid concerns. And it's concerns that the government ought to address. And it's certainly questions like those on the back of what was a very encouraging and optimistic Monday in this country, that there are certain questions and concerns that certain people want answers to, clarity to, and they ought to get it because it is a very encouraging investment. It can bring hundreds of jobs back to Point Lisa's industrial estate and back to a steel company that we really haven't seen operational for the last 10 years. And we saw some images, if you can roll it again, we saw some very interesting images of what this steel plant looks like now. So obviously it's going to take a lot of work to come back to really bring this steel plant back to a place where it can be operational, and that itself will take some time. But also, we live and operate now in an environment, in a country, and particularly in a world where things have changed over the last 10 years. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed, and energy security remains tantamount at this point. And so there are several concerns, including from former Princestown MP and former UNC opposition MP Rodney Charles, saying in today's Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper that, okay, Trinidad and Tobago is strengthening its ties with the United States, but geopolitically, the United States has a midterm elections in November. What if the tide swings towards the Democrats and away from the Republicans? How will Trinidad and Tobago be able to negotiate such a change? Will such a change have an impact on Trinidad and Tobago's foreign policy with the United States? All valid questions, all questions that the government ought to be addressing, but it doesn't shy away, it doesn't rub off, it doesn't erase the fact that on Monday, there was very encouraging news in this country where hundreds of jobs are potentially now available through a steel plant, through Pinnacle, through the partnership of the United States. That's very encouraging. I do want to spend some time as well talking a little bit about the water crisis that Trinidad and Tobago is facing. And it is a water crisis. In many parts of the country, people haven't had water for quite some time. And I was mentioning to an editor on Sunday or Monday, one of them, I was mentioning to an editor here at Guardian Media that we're not really understanding the water crisis that is to come in this country. And let's put aside the potential AI data center. Let's put aside ArcelorMittal. And by the way, Gail Alexander has a very good story with Senator Anthony Vieira, independent Senator Anthony Vieira, on the water needs of this country on page 4, I believe, or page 5, in today's Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper. But we're not really truly getting to the bottom of understanding the oncoming water crisis that this country is going to face and has been facing, really. People in rural communities, people in Arima have been the latest. We're not really understanding the oncoming water crisis that's coming in this country, not only because of the industries that are now expanding across the country, but also because of the changing climate, because of what's happening in the environment, because of the drought. And sometimes we don't look further than our big toe, because if you look at what's happening in the Philippines right now, they're rationing water. They are rationing water in the Philippines. Several Caribbean islands, including Tobago, is actually on an alert that droughts will actually affect. And Grenada has been included in that. Barbados is also included in that. So, and if you look in Europe, in parts of Europe, rivers, which are usually very high, even during the summer period, are now at record low levels. So globally, we have this water problem. And it wouldn't be so bad if the entire fabric of life wasn't centered around water. And here in Trinidad and Tobago, we also have these continuing water issues, but it's now going to be exacerbated by the drought, the hotter than usual wet season that we've started having since the 1st of July, or rather the 1st of June. And it continues, and we see people, it's not any longer just people complaining about the water issues in their community. It's now that we are heading to a point, and this isn't about whichever government is in power. This is about whichever administration is here in 10 years or even 15 years. Whichever administration is, yellow, blue, red, whichever administration, they're going to face a water crisis. And it's something that we ought to be looking at, especially if we're going to invite a lot of industries back into Trinidad and Tobago, new industries as well, that we've been talking about. We really ought to be looking at, first, plugging all of those leaks and really redoing the infrastructure. It's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost millions of dollars to fix all those leaks across Trinidad and Tobago, but it's going to save you millions of gallons of water in the end as well. And secondly, we already ought to be looking now at new conservation strategies. And also, how do we feed the thirst of these industries that are coming and that are right here, right now? So sometimes I feel like we're not really grasping how important, and something that we take for granted, because many of us have a pipe-borne water supply, much like how easily electricity and cheaply electricity is accessible in this country. Water, very much the same. Very cheap, so we use it, sometimes we abuse it, and ultimately we lose it. And some people just don't have it. So I think it's really important that we honor the words of Senator Anthony Vieira, who's speaking in the TNT Guardian this morning. And we really ought to think about how can we really move forward to become water secure in the next 10 to 15 years. Because if we don't plug those leaks, we're going to end up in a really, really challenging situation where a country like the Philippines is now rationing water. So I do hope that that's something that we take into consideration very soon, because we're losing time, we're losing ground, and it's a global problem. It's not a Trinidad and Tobago problem. Let's have a look at the TNT Guardian's back page as well very quickly, because we are running out of time. We have Professor Roger Hussein joining us at the back of the next break. The Tobago House of Assembly is considering legal action after the Secondary Schools Football League opted to drop the 2 Tobago schools out of the Premier Football Division. It's a huge decision. It's the first time in 12 years such a decision has taken place. But again, why was this decision taken place? The decision was taken merely because it's financially difficult. It's difficult, and it's not the right decision. It's the absolute wrong decision. We have to have Tobago teams play and compete against our Trinidad teams in the SSFL. It helps the students, it helps the footballers, it helps the league, it helps Tobago, it helps develop our secondary schools football, our youth teams. It helps in every regard. And we cannot ignore Tobago, not a country that has produced so many phenomenal footballers, not least of them Dwight York. We have to find the funding. We have to look. We have to talk to corporate TNT, but it's not merely enough to sit in a boardroom and decide that the 2 Tobago teams, perhaps even, I'm not even sure if the Tobago teams and if the Tobago Football Association were consulted or in the room when that decision was made, but it's not enough for us to just come to that decision, even after we've tried a few corporate sponsors. It's really unimaginable, and it's something that we really ought not to practice after 12 seasons of having the Tobago team. So I do hope that some corporate sponsor, or even the government, if it's affordable, will come on board and get those Tobago teams, particularly Speyside and Signal Hill. Signal Hill, which had such a storied football history in Trinidad and Tobago secondary schools football, that they will be able to play in the next SSFL. Let's have a very quick look at the briefs as well. Yesterday was World Steel Pan Day, and I saw some images from Times Square in New York City where the steel pan dominated the atmosphere there. That filled me with pride. That made me feel so. It was steel pan at the center of the world, really, because so many cultures, so many languages, so many accents converge on Times Square, and our steel pan, born and grown and made right here in Trinidad and Tobago, was beating in the heart of Times Square. The permanent representative for Trinidad and Tobago to the United Nations was there. He gave a speech, Ambassador Neil Parson. A late happy World Steel Pan Day to everyone watching. I'm hoping that we can continue building on the success of World Steel Pan Day, making more and more people around the world, and our own people as well, aware of just what we've created and the magnificent musical instrument we created in the 20th century. Let's take a quick break here on the Morning Brew. When we come back, Professor Roger Hussein is going to join us. So we have the steel plant now in progress in Point Lisas. The revitalization plans are happening. What are the costs to Trinidad and Tobago? Can this really propel our economy forward? And what's going to hold it back? Professor Roger Hussein, next.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour, Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Everyone loves a champion. A champion performance deserves a champion home. At Classic Tiles, discover premium tiles, stylish bathrooms, luxury vanities, SPC flooring, and everything you need to bring your dream home to life. Because every winning woman deserves a home that looks and feels like a champion. Champions shop at Classic Tiles, located on Endeavour Road, Chaguanas.
My man, Andre.
Good night, Anthony.
7 years with the company, and we couldn't do it without Antoine.
Happy birthday, dear Alejandro. Happy birthday to you.
Who's Angelo?
We're like coworkers who don't forget your name.
I'm Angelo.
CG United. Good like that.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. That's your big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop, Tomitoma, and Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Islands in the fun. Welcome, welcome one and all to the land of death. Trinity to the board.
Welcome back to the Morning Brew, everyone. Happy to be in your company. We're talking just over 2 days after, I should rather say just under 2 days after, the government would have relaunched really the steel plant. I have with me economist Professor Roger Hussein to walk us through the impact and the effects this decision, this announcement could have. Professor Hussein, welcome back to the program. Great to see you.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for the invitation.
So, a couple economists are a little bit cautious, Professor Hussein, about this announcement, about this relaunch of the steel plant in Point Lisas. They're urging caution. One actually said that they're not. Professor Patrick Watson said that he's not really sure if this is just Greeks bringing gifts, if this is a Trojan horse. Your thoughts on what you would have witnessed on Monday?
Well, I must say that I was pleased. I would be cautious, but I was pleased. I mean, there's nothing. For so many years, we didn't receive any substantive foreign direct investment. Yes, the energy sector would receive some here and there, but if there's foreign direct investment to the tune of $0.75 billion does come into the Trinidad and Tobago economy and generate in excess of 500 jobs with the passing of time, that's a welcome development. I am in the Point Lisas area often, and you could see the decline in the level of economic activity, in the level of employment. So if this were to happen, it would be good news for Trinidad and Tobago. I cannot see how a project that generates foreign exchange, that creates employment, that would stimulate backward and forward linkages with the economy, in an economy that is about 18% smaller than in 2015, that is experiencing net capital outflows, that has a high debt to GDP ratio, and for which the U.S. is very dependent on external markets for imports. It's not as if the U.S. is a producer. It's very dependent on the external market for imports. To me, there are a number of factors coming together to make this a useful intervention in the context of these circumstances, both in the USA and Trinidad and Tobago. So I see it as a good step. One project alone like this will not solve our forex situation or our forex problem. It will not create all the long-term sustainable jobs that we need, but it is a step in the right direction. You know, I often use football analogies when I speak. This is not like the goalkeeper passing the ball to the last stopper. This is more like the goalkeeper passing the ball to the last stopper and the last stopper passing to the ball to the midfielder. I think it brings you much closer to the opposition goal than some of the other things we have seen in the last few years.
How big of a boost economically can this be in the short term? Is it going to be a boost in the short term, or are we looking at medium to long term?
It depends upon when work actually starts. Now, I don't see it as a massive transformative intervention and project. It depends upon when the initial cash injections take place. Now, one of the things we have to be careful about is the timing of the gas availability that will be used in this steel and vanadium plant. And it seems to be rolling out in a way to coexist with the coming on stream of Manati, which is good. You know, it shows that the policymakers are thinking this thing through and they are planning this thing forward. And the boost will help the local environment. It will help the Point Fortin environment, the wider Trinidad and Tobago economy. It depends upon when they go in and they look at the facility, how much input they need from the Trinidad and Tobago economy itself that we could support, and then they would have to import the other things that they need, of course. And if they bring their US and pay for their imports, that's fine. We would just look at the net export revenues generated from the activity with the passage of time. But it's hard to say upfront the quantity of boost, except I saw the Prime Minister, I think they mentioned 500 jobs or X amount of jobs up front. That's a number to look at and keep in mind.
1,000
So jobs. Good. I mean, that's a fine start, as compared, especially if those 1,000 people are currently unemployed in some form.
Right. Professor Hussein, going back into the steel industry after 10 years and looking at the global state of play right now, not least with what is happening in the Middle East and Iran, but other parts of the world, let's just take Russia, Ukraine, for example, going back into the steel industry, how good a decision is that right now in the geopolitical sphere of things?
Well, I think it has good value in the sense that, one, these foreign investors will not invest in your country. They are not here to play marble pitch. They are here to make money. They are here for other objectives. And if they come into your country and they are putting out capital and they are making this injection, it is because they have done the background numbers and there is money to be made. In the context of the rise of China, one of the problems and one of the reasons that may work in the Trinidad and Tobago economy's favor is that the US is dependent on South Africa and China for the supply of vanadium. And if it is this plant is set up in Trinidad, it gives the Trinidad and Tobago economy some leverage, some room, some benefits in the US market on a product that a US firm, US foreign multinational, is producing on our shores with a safe, reliable market in the USA for this product and these products that are used for the military sector and for aerospace industry and whatnot. I think that's a really good start. People need to understand the background context. One, we don't have the 250 million to 750 million to inject into this exercise ourselves. Two, the USA is creating the opportunity. You know, it's where a foreign firm, in the sense of Sir Arthur Lewis, they are coming with their capital, they are coming with their technical skills, and in this case, they are coming with their market. That's a difficult thing. When you mentioned the steel plant, when that steel plant now started about 1979, 1980 or thereabouts, very early on in the life cycle of the steel plant, we were hit with some tariffs from the USA and found it very, very difficult to export our steel to certain markets. They accused us of dumping and so on. In this case, a lot of those potential problems would be, it would be immediately overcome by virtue of the partner and the investor coming with ready markets. I think we should be thankful. I mean, it's nothing much is going on. So if you have a situation, a desert, and you get a cricket game that's between West Indies and New Zealand. They are not the two best teams in the world, but your people get to enjoy a lot of the things involved with and benefits involved from a good cricket game in a parallel way. That's what I'm seeing going on here. We don't have much going on. Natural gas production is down to 2,400 mmcf per day. And apart from Manatee, we are talking significantly about importing gas. So this to me, with my experience, is a good intervention. We count it, but we look for others.
But I just wonder,
we keep the ball moving.
I do want to point to former UNC MP Rodney Charles and his concern in the Guardian newspaper today. There's a midterm elections happening in the United States in November. If the Democrats should seize power in both Senate and House and the policies of the Republicans and particularly the Trump administration changes, do you see that having any real impact on the policies that Trinidad and Tobago has aligned itself with the United States? Do you see any impact at all?
Well, I would keep my comment to the steel plant and vanadium linked to what you asked. I think this is a product that the USA economy needs, and therefore, regardless of who is in government, they would need this product. And if Trinidad and Tobago, as we have always been, continues to be an ally of the USA, I don't see if there is a regime change. I can't remember Trinidad and Tobago having an argument or falling out with the USA. I think we have always been a good partner and a good regional country in support of U.S. policies as best as we could. And I don't see a major fallout if there were to be some change of the form that you mentioned. I don't.
I want to touch on a couple of things before we move on, Professor Hussain, only because I have you here this morning. One of them is, does the success or the potential success of any AI data center really hinge on the success of this steel mill? If the government gets this right, this reopening and the Forex comes in and we're able to sort of get something inject some type of life into the economy, do you think it would win over some supporters with a data center?
I think some of the commentary, as in all countries, some of the commentary on the AI data centers will be political. Some of the comments will be from people who are anti-government, and therefore anything the current government comes up with, we would find reasons to say it is bad. You saw it in the previous regime, and you are seeing it now. So the substantive focus, when someone like me, when I look at the AI centers, I would look at if it is net foreign exchange generating, if it generates jobs, if it does not breach the laws of the land, and whether on the amount of natural gas that it would use as an input, if it is practical. So I am hopeful that, of course, it is very important to let the ideas contend and hear what the experts on AI centers have to say, but it's there are other things on the table as well that we see happening, that we see slowly coming to life. And if the AI center were to go forward, I personally would be happy for it if it is that it does not violate any environmental law that we have, if it is that it does not use more natural gas and energy than competing existing plants would use. So once it ticks all those boxes and it adds value to the economy, we are in a real foreign exchange crunch, In fact, I ran some of the numbers, and the difference between reserves and external debt by 2030 is very scary as it stands. So we need to be getting, our act together. And if these are some of the interventions that can help, there are AI centers all over the world. There are AI centers all over the world in countries like Sweden, where there's so much environmental rules. There are over 100 AI centers. I hope I got the country correct. I believe it is Sweden. So if we do it and we do it properly, and it generates foreign exchange, creates long-term sustainable jobs, it does not violate any environmental rules and regulation, and the amount of natural gas and energy that it uses does not diminish in any significant way the amount that is available for our existing plants, fine. But let the ideas contend for the while and let the information come out in the public. But we have a situation here where we are trying to rebuild this economy. It is 18% lower than in 2015. It's a long road ahead. Thankfully, some ideas are coming forward, some suggestions. We cross-examine them, we do our baseline homework, and we try to get, say, 5 out of a possible 10. I'm just using 2 numbers here to get the economy going and hope that the backward and forward linkages will give us that ball closer to the opposition's goal.
All right. BP has sold 20% of its shares in the Mannequin field to the National Gas Company. How much of a game changer is that for the National Gas Company? And how important could that prove for this country's energy sector?
Well, first the gas has to flow. So yes, it's good if NGC has some of the ownership. Yes, excellent. But until we get the gas flowing, I think that we are talking about speculative foreign exchange. And when you go to the bank and you ask for foreign exchange, they give you from what is available. They don't give you from what they expect to get next week. So I would wait for some more concrete development. You know, with Venezuela, any gas associated with Venezuela, it's always a challenge. But I prefer to see gas come on stream and then see the amount of money we benefit from before I make a deeper comment. So I comment with numbers, I comment with more data and more evidence rather than speculative money that can flow.
I do want to end by asking you one final question, and it surrounds the police posts. We've often talked about the impact of crime on businesses and burgesses across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. Now we have 30, and it's going to be 30 plus soon, 30 plus police posts across communities across this country. Do you see this as potentially now reinvigorating some level of safety and ultimately economic activity within these burgesses now that there may be some greater level of security in communities across Trinidad and Tobago? Can police posts help these businesses and burgesses across the country?
Of course. It really depends upon if they are able to keep the crime level down. So I support the post. I don't understand why people would be fussing and quarreling and saying that, you know, the crime level is so high in 2022, 2023, and 2024. I urge people to look at the data, the international data. Trinidad and Tobago were in the top 10 worst performing economies in the world per capita in terms of homicides. Here it is, we have an idea on the table that can potentially help to increase the amount of police and the amount of policing in the public, as long as the Commissioner of Police and the National Security Apparatus works and helps to subdue crime via this means, people would get more confident. And if you have more confidence, you would buy more, so there would be more circulating economic activity, and you would invest more. You could help to create more economic activity. So we have to wait and see. But certainly for me, as a citizen, you know, when I go to play football, I don't want to be worried about going in my car. I don't want to be worried. And if there are more police posts and more police presence and the crime situation improves as a consequence, I say thank you. Now, there are other things to be done. You know, there are a range of other things that many good commentators have put out that needs to be done, and we do them as we go along. But for me, I see it as a good start, and I speak here as a private citizen, as a good start in the right direction, and if we continue to add some of these little starts together, who knows, by 2027 we could see growth moving from the subdued level in 2025 and 2026 to onto the 2% and 3% that we want in the non-energy export sector, see some more foreign exchange coming in, see some more exports of goods and services going out, and give the economy a chance to breathe. Give the economy a chance to breathe. And I think I am seeing little things that would probably help that. It's all based upon a gamble. If you are 3 goals down, or like France against Argentina in 2022, 3 goals down, you have to cut loose. And it's the same thing here. If you have an economy that is 18% battered, lower than in 2015, with your labor force participation rate down to 55%, price levels significantly higher than in 2015, and I've identified over 50 variables that have worsened. You have to now take some chances. If your chances with the U.S. economy and you are going into vanadium production, given your situation with the difference between reserves and external debt over -1 billion, then you have to take some chances. And I am seeing some chances that are not, to use the football analogy, passing the ball close to the opposing players, but passing the ball reasonably careful from the goalkeeper to the last stopper to the midfield. I would take that chance and see how it goes from the midfield towards the opposition goal. I will take the chance.
I know you love your sport, Professor Roger Hussein. Who are you backing for the CPL?
I'm watching. I'm trying to get the hang of the teams. I'm not so familiar with all the players this time around, so I'm watching. And a little later on, I will make up my mind.
Well, we look forward to hearing that on this program. Professor Roger Hussein, thanks very much for being back on The Morning Brew.
Thank you for the invitation.
Let's take a break here on The Morning Brew. When we come back, we'll be heading across to Tobago. What are the options for tourism on the island? We'll discuss next.
We have a plane to see. We prove we can stand this scrutiny. All I know that true democracy. How we vote is not how we party. There's no place like home, some people say. Though some have to leave to make their way. But in your hearts, I know their destiny. So come on, man. Go.
The biggest party in sport is back. Catch every TKR March live and exclusively on CNC3, August 7th through September 20th. You don't want to miss the action. The Republic Bank CPL 2026, only on CNC3. Passion, energy, and cricket live here. Brought to you by
Some moments change everything. Your family's first memories. Comfort isn't just about temperature, it's about feeling your best. Whether you're celebrating the big win or making unforgettable memories, the moments that matter deserve comfort you can trust. That's why thousands choose McQuay by Daikin. And now, every purchase of a McQuay air conditioner helps make a difference. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society. Visit your nearest Schoolmax or Superco Limited branch or request McQuay from your trusted AC technician.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should with Rand Credit Union. Yes, you could.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
It is one of the most important periods for the island of Tobago, the July-August vacation. It welcomes thousands of visitors. There were encouraging numbers when it comes to Caribbean Airlines Airbridge for the July month. There were like 66,000 plus people traveling on the Airbridge. So it's an encouraging start for Cal. How much of an encouraging start has it been for the island of Tobago? I want to welcome to the program Rondell Fields, who is the owner of Silver Mangrove Villas. Rondell, welcome back to the program. Great to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ryan. Nice to be here on a different type of food and topic.
Great to have you. Let's start with your opinion on the type of July-August vacation Tobago has had, at least for the first month.
I mean, I would say it's been good. I would say that from what I have seen personally, we've seen a lot of traffic coming between, particularly Trinidad to Tobago. So, I mean, if we consider, we look at that part of this getting persons into the Tobago, into Tobago itself and being a part of its culture and being a part of its investment and those kind of things, I would say it's been okay, I would say, for July. But I think, go ahead.
No, please, you finish and then I'll come in.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, as we're talking about the air bridge between Trinidad and Tobago, what to me I think we need to really look at is how we can beef up or how we can maximize on getting international tourism. We're talking about getting the tourists from all over the world into Tobago. I think that's what we really need, because I guess you would agree with me that we really need economic vehicle that can actually assist us when it comes to the generation of forex in our country at this point in time. So I think in that regard, how can we make Tobago the ultimate destination, a tourismic destination across the Caribbean or across the world?
Well, that's what you and I are really here this morning to discuss, Randall. How can we take tourism in Tobago to the next level? What is required?
I mean, firstly, people may say that, he's not a Tobagonian, she's be talking, but I mean, I'll give my history with Tobago. I always say, as an Afro-entrepreneur, and I don't say that in any way to divide our ethnicities at all, Tobago had a very instrumental part in me wanting to be a businessman. I didn't come from a family or generation of businessmen, but having the opportunity possibly to only travel to Tobago when I was young, and my immigrant mother was a Grenadian, could only carry us to Tobago. I actually got the experience with the field of Afro-entrepreneurism. I saw, the glass bottom tours. I saw the people selling their products like Beneball and the nut cake. And, I mean, small business persons, but for the first time, store persons that look like me, I mean, having their own businesses. So, I mean, that always pulled me to invest in Tobago, and that's part of the reason that I did eventually invest in Tobago in our villa and the lowlands area called Silver Mangrove at this point in time. So what I really think, though, is that, yes, we have the culture of Tobago, we have the boat racing, you have all the events, cultural events, the Best Village, they have the so many other things that they offer, like the glass bottom boat tours that I talk about. But what on a world-class level? What do we have on a world-class, world-rated level that's going to keep people coming there all the time? Yes, we have a carnival in Tobago, not just as we have in Trinidad, that also encourages people when they come to Trinidad to go to Tobago. But what do we have? What do we have around the clock, around the globe, around the entire year? And that really caused me to look into even an individual investment that I have in Bahamas. And I realized that Atlantis was doing such a great job across there that was something that we could actually look at in the beautiful island of Tobago. We're seeing Atlantis generate so much foreign exchange, and right around the world, in the Bahamian Islands, across the Bahamian Islands, also encouraging persons not only to go to Nassau, but to the smaller islands like Eleuthera and Abaco and Grand Bahama and all these other islands. And I particularly noticed that this is something that could be actually good for Tobago as well.
You've sent a proposal to the government for an international standard marine resort and water-themed destination. You've mentioned Atlantis. How can this really change tourism, particularly for international visitors for the island of Tobago, which, by the way, right now, its dominant visitorship really comes from Trinidadians?
I mean, most definitely. When you look at organizations like Disney and organizations like Royal Caribbean, they are putting our Caribbean experience on a ship and shipping it across the world, sometimes just stopping into these locations here. I think it's time for us to have something that's globally acclaimed, that's going to attract people here, as I said, 12 months during the year. And we've seen the example of that with Atlantis. We've seen it also in other parts of the world with Disney Sea in Japan. So I think because of our marine nature and culture, our ecosystem in Tobago, that we can accomplish the very same thing on the island of Tobago. And I mean, it's not just talking about, I don't really think Randolph's want to sell a water park. It's not about that. It's about finding another form of forex to earn forex in our system. I was on the post-COVID team, where we are on that roadmap committee team, and one of the main things they continue to identify is that we need something beside oil and gas. We need something to help us generate forex. And yes, I can say yes, as many other islands, we have a lot of natural wonders that we can ask and encourage people to come to see. But we need something that is going to get people here, something that is globally acclaimed, something that is world class, to come to Trinidad and Tobago, particularly Tobago, so that they can act as that, as I said, economic vehicle to drive us where we need to go to the future when it comes particularly to forex generation. And it's not just about forex generation, it will also create, to me, a lot of social and educational benefit as well. We're not even looking at the economic side when it comes to the way it's going to impact employment. But even on the educational side, we have so many people that were trained or actually took on subjects for careers in oil and gas, who wanted to be a petroleum engineer and these kind of things. If we create another sector that is projected to earn that kind of forex in our country, we're going to now start seeing students want to become more marine biologists because they may not be able to be employed in Tobago or in marine services generally. So I think this, when you look at it, Ryan, what else do we have that is going to make a meaningful impact when it comes to the generation of forex within our Caribbean island?
Yeah, and Tobago really is, I mean, we were having this conversation maybe for a week, some family members and I, and we all agreed that Tobago is right up there with all of the other Caribbean islands that we visited. It lacks nothing. However, I do want to also bring up another point that was made. One of the divisional secretaries said, in light of the new airport terminal being opened at some point in the near future, in light of that happening, there really ought to be a greater chunk of revenue going towards marketing the island. And they compared it with that of Barbados and other islands, and it was really chalk and cheese. Is that something that's critically needed, a greater investment in marketing Tobago outside of this country?
I agree with that totally. And I mean, what are we going to market? That is the other part. Marketing is one thing. What different, what exclusive, what is unique to Tobago? And yes, as I said, we have a lot of natural wonders. I don't want Tobagonians to be upset with me. But at the end of the day, what do we have that is unique that no one else across the Caribbean could boast of in the southerly part of the Caribbean? So we're talking about, all right, we know Bahamas is up in the north, but at the end of the day, in the southerly part of the Caribbean, we are so well geographically located for a development such as that. We're in close proximity to all parts of the world, to Southern America, Northern America, the European nations. And at the end of the day, we are perfectly located when it comes to geographical location, just off the hurricane belt. We have the perfect weather, whether sun or rain, and investments such as what we're speaking about could be substantially impactful in the island of Tobago. And as I said, it's not about selling a hotel. This is not just going to be a hotel. It's not just going to be a water park. This is going to be the perfect economic diversification that I can think about that will encourage tourists to come here all the time. And not only tourists, I mean, I'm talking about the tourists from all those Northern American countries and Southern American countries, but right across the Caribbean itself, some persons don't see these places, don't see a Disney water park because they don't have a visa to go to the US, or don't have a visa to even get to Bahamas as well. So if we put it in a location where they can access it, you're going to get Caribbean nations who are going to come here and they're going to spend foreign exchange in our country as well. And it would really, really be sad for us to have to see a neighboring island like Grenada or some other one decide or make a partnership to I mean, have one of these institutions set up that we will have to leave Tobago to travel to go to.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the government needs to go out there, write that check and build a marine park of such a, I mean, we know it's going to have a cost. But we can find public-private partnership across the world. I can give you an example, as I said, with the island of Lutra. I am invested in Bahamas. I don't like to put my business out there.
There are people at home, Rondell, who might be looking at you and saying, particularly maybe even Tobagonians, saying, but Rondell Sandals wanted to build that. That's what some people might be looking at you at home and saying.
Right, but I don't think Sandals wanted to build what I'm talking about. If you know the likes of Sandals and the likes of Atlantis, what I'm talking about is something that a replica of what Atlantis presents. I'm not saying that we must build it also in. What I'm saying is that we need that world-acclaimed partnership with some Disney or some Atlantis, just like there's an Atlantis franchise in Dubai. We need those world-class acclaimed franchises to partner with us so that they bring the global attraction in. I'm not saying build a grand, massive water park and just name it anything and hope for the best. We want to guarantee that we have aligned ourselves with a world-class, world-acclaimed franchise that's going to definitely get people there.
Right.
If you build an Atlantis or you form a partnership with a Disney in Trinidad and Tobago, just as the island of Lutra did in the last 2 years with Disney, I'm going to guarantee you that persons from all over the world are going to come here to get our taste and experience of what a Disney water park should look like, or what an Atlantis water park Tobago version should look like.
I'm running out of time. I have to head to a break, but I do want to talk to you. You've recently launched Silver Mangrove Villas because is it that you see an uptick in the number of people visiting Tobago, and thus it's essential that more accommodation be made?
I mean, I see it as an opportunity for Tobago. I mean, generally, I would say the Villa will do well, it's doing well. The ones I have in Trinidad is doing well as well. But I see the opportunity for vast improvement of our general, the persons in Tobago have an opportunity to do villas as well. Not only for the persons who own the villas, but persons as the taxi drivers, persons who want to open restaurants, persons who want to be a part and continue to grow in the ecosystem to keep that Afro-entrepreneurial and Indo-entrepreneurial business drive going. And I think it's something that we need to continue to promote across Tobago.
Rondell, appreciate you being on the program to talk us through what Tobago really needs to take its tourism to the next level. Really appreciate your time.
And Ryan, I just let people know this is my suggestion. As I said, I don't want Tobagonians to be upset, but I see the opportunity and potential because I said I have first-hand experience with it in the island of Lutra and Bahamas, and I've seen how the infrastructure, I've seen how the education system, I've seen how the roadway and roadworks have improved since the introduction of a Disney local K at the Lutra, and I want Tobago to be able to experience some of these benefits through international, private, and local public partnerships.
I'm sure that Tobagonians will not be upset with you for trying to take tourism on the island to the next level. I'm very sure about that. Rondell, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, Rondell Fields talking to us, owner of Silver Mangrove Villas in Tobago, and how we can take tourism to the next level. Let's head to a break. We're also going to check out the 7 a.m. news in the second hour of the program. Remember, we're going to recap that really great match between the Jamaica Kings and the Barbados Royals last night in the CPL. So stay with us. We've got a great show for you in the second hour as well.
Tell me this is what your heart desires.
No. You never invested with First Line. I need financial stability. So no, I can't.
Real love needs real planning. First Line Securities, helping Trinidad and Tobago invest for over 2 decades. Invest with us. Go to firstlinesecurities.com to begin investing today.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the second floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Okay, let me see you Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right, now step forward, now step back.
Lucozade, bring the energy. Unbeatable taste, new look.
Shake off, let me see you rock off.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Here at GMMB, love is the currency. And let's show you how we are able to transfer that energy into real conversations. What about the connection with you and your team members?
It's top priority for me to have that clear understanding of who my team members are and building connections with them to ensure that they carry out the vision of what we are trying to achieve as a team, realizing opportunities for both the clients and ourselves.
GMMB.
It's banking for real. KC Ginger Mint, your trusted and natural wellness. Now with healthier options. KC Ginger Mint with honey and lime. KC Ginger Mint with orange and KC Ginger Mint with lemon. KC Ginger, honey, lemon, lime, and orange. Natural and trusted for generations for soothing sore throats and digestion and boost immunity. Get your new KC Candy Ginger Mint extended range today and breathe naturally.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
Live Caribbean Premier League, only on CNC3. The biggest parties on CNC3. We've secured the broadcast rights to the Caribbean Premier League, bringing you every TKR match live. To make room for the action, CNC3 News will air earlier on selected match days. Watch for our daily reminders on air and follow CNC3 on social media for the latest broadcast times, so you don't miss the stories that matter. Stay with us for every run, every wicket, every unforgettable CPL moment, only on CNC3. Follow CNC3 on social media for the full broadcast schedule. CNC3, your news, your cricket.
Time check. Brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
Good morning, I'm Kay Marie Fletcher with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. A grand drone show is being planned for this year's Independence Day celebrations. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Ravi Ratiram made the announcement on Tuesday during an interview with CNC3 News in Tobago. However, Ratiram declined to say whether the drone show will replace the traditional independence fireworks. Animal rights activists and groups against noise pollution have clamored for fireworks to be eliminated from the celebrations. With last year's celebrations cancelled due to security concerns, Ratiram said 2026 will include new elements.
We're going to be using technology. I believe we're going to have a beautiful drone show on the evening of Independence. We're going to have our national instrument. Today as we celebrate Steel Pan Day, I can, say happy Steel Pan Day to everyone. And on Independence Day, we will actually be having Pan on the Road happening for Independence. It's some new elements that Minister of Culture has brought into our Independence.
Just days after hosting a book drive for children in her community, Reform Manihambre councillor Vashti Suku has died at the age of 60. Suku was a fixture in local government and UNC politics, having entered political life at just 16 years old. She went on to serve as a councillor, alderman, welfare officer, women's affairs officer, while also founding the NGO Friends of Reform Manihambre. The UNC confirmed her death in a statement expressing condolences to Suku's family, friends and others who worked with her. The party described Suku as a dedicated public servant who served her community with dedication and a commitment to residents. The group Citizens Against Noise Pollution is calling for a more responsible approach if fireworks return on the patriotic observance. The group says it fully supports independence celebrations but stressed that any official fireworks display should be controlled, time-limited and planned with consideration for residents, vulnerable people and animals. The group calls for a published schedule of the start and finish times of any display to be issued in advance, shorter displays and lower noise fireworks used where feasible. It is also calling for measures to discourage uncontrolled fireworks before and after the official display. To eliminate the noise which affects places such as the zoo and pet owners the most, the group is also suggesting drone technology as an alternative. This has been Headline News. Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and for comprehensive coverage in our midday news and major newscast at 7 p.m. on CNC3.
I love the fete and the bacchanal, calypso and the carnival in my country. I love to hear the sweet harmony.
Welcome back to the second hour of the Morning Brew. We had a very interesting first hour talking to Professor Roger Hussein as well as Rondell Fields. With Professor Hussein, we would have discussed the relaunch of the steel plant and how that can bring good news for Trinidad and Tobago's foreign exchange rate. And then with Rondell Fields, we discussed Tobago's tourism sector and how we can thrust Tobago tourism to the international audience and not just the Trinidadians. In the second hour, we have a great show ahead as well. Of course, at the bottom of the hour, we'll be discussing the CPL game between the Jamaica Kingsmen and the Barbados Royals. The Barbados Royals winning that game by 5 runs last night. It was a really good game. Over 400 runs would have been scored. So it's an interesting start of the CPL. That was just 4 matches out of 39 in. In the second hour as well, we'll have the Trinidad and Tobago IVF and Fertility Center as well as Cipriani Labour College discussing their open day that is coming up. In the meantime, let's give you the social media handles in which you can follow us on here at The Morning Brew. Send us an email if there's a topic of discussion or if you think there's somebody or some organization that should be on the program. It's tmb@cnc3.co.tt. Reach out to us. Our producer will be happy to hear from you. You can send us an email at tmb@cnc3.co.tt. Also, reach out to us on our social media handles. You can get us at CNC3 News on Instagram, at CNC3 Television on Facebook, CNC3 TV on Twitter, now X. Remember, it's use the hashtag TMB on the social media handles so we can stay in touch with you. Also, download the CNC3 mobile app where you'll get all the latest developing and breaking news from here at home in Trinidad and Tobago. And also download the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian app. Visit guardian.co.tt for all the latest breaking and developing news that's happening in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's also give you something to think about on this Wednesday morning. We're at the midway point of this week, and our quote this morning comes from Tom Stoppard. Every exit is an entry somewhere else. Every time a door closes, one other door will open for you. Every exit is an entry into somewhere else. Some really great words there from Tom Stoppard. Let's check in with Sigoni now to see what's happening in the weather today. Sigoni, good morning to you.
Hi there, I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your daily dose of weather. Keep the umbrellas closed because we may get a brief break in the weather, but we're not done with the showers just yet. We've got lingering moisture and instability, which continues to affect Trinidad and Tobago, allowing a few showers to develop even as a ridge of high pressure briefly tries to settle things down. And waiting further to the east, we've got another tropical wave that is expected to approach the southern Windward Islands overnight, and that's going to keep moisture and showers in the forecast. So across Tobago, we do expect partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies. What we'll see here is that we also have scattered showers with periods of rain. There's also a chance of a heavier shower or isolated thunderstorm activity. Now for Trinidad, it is still quite hot out there, but we're also expecting sunshine mixed with partly cloudy to cloudy periods and some showers, particularly from late morning into the afternoon period. There's also a chance of an isolated thunderstorm, mainly favoring western Trinidad, but not limited to those areas. So this could be one of those afternoons where one area stays relatively dry, while another, just a few kilometers away, gets a sudden heavy downpour. Now, where we do have those heavier showers or even thunderstorms developing, gusty winds, reduced visibility, and localized street flooding are all possible. So for those of you heading offshore now, as the ridge may buy us just a little time, seas are remaining slight to moderate, but get this, conditions can become locally choppy in and around showers and thunderstorms, where winds may begin to strengthen quite suddenly. And remember, spring tides also remain in effect, so fishermen, boaters, sea bathers, and all other marine users, you should continue exercising caution, particularly around your high tide times. So we may get a few breaks between the showers, but with more tropical moisture waiting to the east, the weather is not ready to completely settle down just yet. That's your forecast, and that's it from me.
Thank you very much, Sigoni. Let's take a break. Stay close to your phones because next we'll be opening up the phone lines. I want to hear from you about some of the most pressing issues facing Trinidad and Tobago. That's on the back of this break.
And when I put up a tight, I just shiver with shady lights, as only Tobagonians will understand. I love my country.
At Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center, we're all about time. In fact, once you check in, there's no time to lose. Reconnect with a little family time. Make a splash with some pool time. Spend some treasured quality time. Or just immerse yourself in some quiet time. Indulge your senses at dinner time. We even have the perfect venue when it's your celebration time. So it's high time you visit Cruise Inn. Choose our day pass or call 607-4000 to make your dinner or hotel reservations or to find out more about our event spaces. Take a time out at Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center.
Trinidad is my land.
It is Independence Month in Trinidad and Tobago. We're happy to be in your company. I'm Ryan Beachu, and welcome back to the second hour of the Morning Brew. Got some interesting conversations coming up within this hour, but first we want to hear from you. 624-8721, 627-8658. St. James, good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning, Ryan.
Good morning. We're hearing you. Go ahead. All right, we might have just got cut off from St. James. I do hope that you call back. In the interim, you can give us a call, 624-8721, 627-8658. Give us a call here on the Morning Brew. Let us know what you have on your mind on this Wednesday morning. Faizabad, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Beachu. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Great.
Mr. Beachu, I've been looking on with great interest with respect to Mr. Gary Griffiths and his comments lately. I notice he's on the media quite frequently. I don't know if it's by coincidence or by design, but he has been going into area of personal attacks. You know, he started with Mr. Alexander, and he has now extended it to Shane Mohammed, Dr. Ramprasad, and what have you. And I think he's been allowed to character assassinate on the media without any real source of proof or evidence suggesting that they are pro-government and is promoting the government. I would have listened to these people, and they have been pretty independent dealing with the fact that I think the media need to reel them in a little bit. We are allowing too much leeway to character assassinate people, and I think something should be done about it. The media need to be more responsible with respect to that type of behavior. He has not been making any real contribution to the solution. All he has been doing is being very critical, towards the government and towards individuals. And I must say, I also welcome the initiative taken by this government to expand on the job market and foreign investors. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Faizabad. Appreciate your call. We have another call on the line. St. James is back with us. St. James, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Ryan.
Got you now.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, firstly, good morning to you and the team. Good morning to JW as well, getting a little break. I saw the interview you had recently with Professor Hussein, talking about the plans to redevelop our economy. Obviously, these are all welcome conversations and plans and developments, hopefully in the future. But you did ask the important question, the biggest topic, national security. And the most recent plan in national security are the new 30 posts that are to be developed. And you asked how they could help, and the obvious answer would be, we need safety as a fundamental pillar throughout, the entirety of our time on the country, because we have seen how it can affect not just economic activity, but more so, the safety and comfort of persons. And you are a very qualified person to attest to this. You read the news on a daily basis. It's been way too long that we have been dealing with this issue. So I was even thinking, as a professor, as a teacher, certain concepts, right? As a teacher, you can't really teach if there are other conversations or distractions going on in the class, even just mentally, building the police post. You wouldn't build it on even land or land with grass. You would see, you would need to clear the land, level the land. There's some foundational work that needs to be done first to support the further development. So we need that situation to be resolved as soon as possible. And even the revitalization plan that we heard presented by Minister John a couple months ago, if you think about it, even up to now, we haven't really been able to have these conversations and even more progressive conversations, because we are still dealing with this issue of crime. So looking forward, I totally support the initiative. And I think even with the police posts themselves, citizens always mention the visibility, the more patrols throughout communities, that real activity to show that visibility and everything. So my contribution, thanks for the opportunity, and keep up the great work.
All right, thank you very much for your call. That's a really important point. And every government for the last 30 years, 30 plus years actually, has had to come to the very real, sometimes very harsh realization that no matter what great work you do in other sectors, be it energy, be it infrastructure, be it education, whatever great work that you're doing in whatever industry, if the crime rate is not under control, that cancer is going to infiltrate all of the good work that you've done. And every government, whether it's yellow or red, have had to come to the realization that no matter what great work you may be doing in any other part of the country, the cancer that is crime is going to affect that great work. Let's head to Saparia now. Saparia, good morning to you.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I am good, man. I just want to elaborate on one of the points which you raised with your previous guest, relative to the comments made by Rodney Charles. And, sometimes I find it difficult to fathom how these ideologies are provoked in a particular direction, as if to say, the relief that are available before us today to bring much needed forex, much needed jobs, much needed expansion in the economy. If we should sit down and look at what may be the results of the election in the U.S. and just allow these opportunities to be bypassed, I really don't understand what kind of logic is that. Whether we should really just be pushing our heads in the sand every time an opportunity comes, because negativity is all we provoke as media and media personalities. I want to get your take on that, please. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Siparia. That's a very interesting comment. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for the call-in segment, but I will sort of respond a little bit and then head to a break because we do have a couple of interviews as well. It's part of the culture of our politics in this country, isn't it? When you're in opposition, you oppose, and when you're in government, you stave off the effects of the opposition opposing everything. And it's the sort of culture that we've been longing for as a nation, that we would recreate our politics, or our politicians would actually recreate the type of politics that they practice in Parliament and outside of Parliament, so that we are all now, we may have disagreements on how we get to a particular destination, but we all agree that we have to get to a destination and stop obstructing and tripping people to get into they move to that destination. And it's a great time to have that conversation. It's a great time to have that conversation because Independence Day is just about 18 days away, 19 days away. So it's a great time for us to have that conversation as a nation. And you brought up a very excellent point. And it really taps into the consciousness of our people. What do we want for our country? How do we want to get there? Or do we have to come to the very harsh reality that we only want the best for our country when our political party, whoever we support, are actually in power? And that's the type of conversations that we need to have as we move towards Independence Day. The type of what I like to call soul searching as we head towards Independence Day. Let's head to a break. We have a couple very interesting interviews on the back of this break, including the folks from the Cipriani College of Labor and Cooperative Studies. They've got 2 open days, not one. They've got one here in Trinidad, then they've got another in Tobago. We'll be talking to them about it next.
One body, no bickering between you and me. Our policy stands for racial equality. Now when a stranger spending a little time in this
life, what a wonderful journey we're on. Each stage is unique, and at Tata Life, we not only understand but also appreciate that you'll have different needs at different times. So trust us to protect you and yours with our comprehensive range of financial planning solutions to ensure that you never ever have to worry. For the many stages of your life, Tata Life, a member of the Answer McCall Group.
The biggest party in sport is back. Catch every TKR match live and exclusively on CNC3, August 7th through September 20th. You don't want to miss the action. The Republic Bank CPL 2026, only on CNC3. Passion, energy, and cricket live here. Brought to you by
Devon chocolate digestive, rich chocolate with cookie crunch. Devon chocolate digestive, taste the cookie with chocolate sweetness.
Cookie beats chocolate in Devon Chocolate Digestive. Better because it's both.
Devon chocolate digestive, rich chocolate with cookie crunch. Devon chocolate digestive, taste the cookie with chocolate sweetness.
cookie meets chocolate in Devon Chocolate Digestive. Better because it's both.
Do you think all dishwashing soaps are the same? With some do require more effort, and they don't wash as much. Try Dawn and discover its grease cleaning power. Dawn removes staph grease easier and faster than others. Additionally, it foam lasts 50% more. With Dawn, you use less product to clean more dishes and save with every wash. Dawn, triple grease cleaning power.
Your heart, brain, and body with omega-3. Packed with essential fatty acids, omega-3 helps support heart health, brain function, and overall wellness. Whether you're staying active, focused, or simply living life to the fullest, make omega-3 part of your daily routine. Live healthier with omega-3. Wellness that works from within. Tune in to Wellness Unlocked on CNC3 Sundays at 5 p.m., also on Monday and Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m.
We finally said yes to onion rings. Now it's your turn to say yes to the new KFC onion ring chicken sandwich for $34.95, or get a regular side of rings for just $15. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Welcome back to The Brew. The Cipriani College of Labor and Cooperative Studies is celebrating its Diamond Jubilee this year, and also it's going to have 2 open days of which you can be a part of. I have with me on the program Colin Bartholomew, who's the Program Dean of Cooperative Studies, and also Akins Vidal, who's the Program Dean of Labor Studies. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Happy Diamond Jubilee. This must be, I think for most people growing up in the 90s like myself, or even the 80s, the Cipriani College of Labor has always been a sort of staple. You've always heard about it. You've always, I mean, the building is yes. You really can't miss it, passing on along the East-West corridor. Tell me about how does it feel to mark the Diamond Jubilee? You're not really an institution, really.
Great. Thank you so much for having us. And yes, it is a significant milestone for the college, established in 1966, and over the years, going through the hills, the valleys, and really looking to establish ourselves on the landscape, starting within the labor movement and growing into the cooperative movement, and now we offer a range of opportunities in various sectors. Our programs span across the occupational safety and health sector, the security administration and emergency management sector, the human resource management sector, project management, and of course, labor and cooperative studies. Akins and I always joke, we are the foundation of the institution, so we are really happy to traverse that landscape and to celebrate our Diamond Jubilee, 60 years. Yeah. It's really a significant occasion.
Akins, how have you seen Cipriani College of Labor transform Trinbagonians over the last 6 decades?
Good morning. I think that for me personally, I mean, I've been there for 17 years now. And on a one-on-one basis, you have students who continuously tell you how important their time at the college was for them. We're also doing an oral history project at the moment, and we're engaging first students, so students who were there when we opened in '66 and so on, who are still around, and they still have very, very vibrant stories about their time at the college and how it has transformed them. Now, we have a number of former ministers who are alumni of the college, and so the thing is that the college is one of the best kept secrets. So you have people who across all sectors of life in this country who have been alumni at the college, but it's not something that comes to the fore because, again, we're one of the best kept secrets. And hopefully, as we move into the next 60 years, we can do more work to really bring the college to the forefront and really celebrate the kind of quality that we offer at Cipriani. And as you said, the kind of life-changing, because just to close it off here, the thing with life-changing is that we focused initially a lot on persons who had already been in the service for 30, they're already in their 30s, their 40s, and so on. So we focus a lot on adult learning. So that transformative component you're talking about has been central to the work we were doing for a long period of time.
The central to the work that you've been doing will continue this year. There are 2 open days. Next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday at the Valsayn campus, and then the next Friday, that's the 28th of August in Tobago. Walk us through what we can expect on those open days, Colin.
Fantastic. So on those days, we are opening up the college and our corridors to the entire public of Trinidad and Tobago. And we welcome representatives and persons from the public sector and the private sector, and from our stakeholder industries, whether security, from the labor movement, from the cooperative movement. And on those days in particular, there will be a series of workshops. Of course, we will have vendors from our stakeholders. We will have giveaways. And of course, persons who are curious about furthering their studies, about upskilling themselves, we will also have opportunities to do so in spite of the restrictions you may have. So we expose you to study plans, we expose you to the stakeholder and student support that you will receive. So a number of activities. While you focus on your future, we will also focus on helping you maneuver.
Talking about helping Akins, scholarships will also be discussed at these open days. Campus life as well and student support services, but the scholarships might be very important for a population of students who may not be able to afford the program, but Cipriani College of Labor will help them get through.
Yeah, so on 2 levels. So one, at an institutional level, there are scholarships offered to particular institutions under each of the program heads or program sections. So for example, the trade union movement, each trade union is offered a certain number of tuition scholarships for particular programs. For the general public, what we will do is when persons come in, the program deans will have some leverage as well to engage in that kind of discussion. And if not a scholarship, we do have conversation. We have the capacity to have conversations about payment plans so that we can ensure that everyone has the opportunity to at least get into the institution, you know, and not let financial situation necessarily bar you from advancing yourself.
Colin, if someone is watching this program this morning with you and I speaking, and they're not really sure where they're headed, what advice would you have for them? And what types of courses does Cipriani encourage students to attend their college to study?
And definitely, I would say if your curiosity is piqued in this discussion, visit us on those open days on the 21st at our Valsayn campus and on the 28th at our Tobago campus in Glen Road, Tobago, and really interrogate the issue of where you seek to pivot based on your experience, because we also accept students based on their experience and or your qualification. So have the discussion, and as we said earlier, the labor studies component, if you want to expand your knowledge in the field of industrial relations and labor studies, cooperative studies and credit union management. Credit union sector being a very robust sector, over $19 billion sector in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as those other areas, a number of projects you may have under management. Life is a project, and sometimes you're getting deeper and deeper into managing projects in an increasing capacity. We have the field of project management, security administration, and emergency management, human resource management, and occupational safety and health. And we have those offerings from the certificate level, the diploma level, associate degrees, and bachelor's degrees. So What I would encourage would be persons to visit the campus on those particular days and have the discussion. See what could be your point of entry and really interrogate how you would like to progress. Also, I'd like to say our programs are nested. So while you may begin at the certificate or diploma level, you may also advance to the advanced levels, matriculate to the higher levels, the associate degrees, the bachelor's degrees, because our programs are nested. So start at one level and seamlessly matriculate.
I'll give you the final word, Atkins. Yeah. If you had to talk to Trinidad and Tobago this morning, those watching, those whose interest have been piqued, what would you say to them to get them to the open days on the 21st and 28th?
I think that particularly now, we're going through a lot economically, and the reality is that education is key. You have persons who are at a point where, as Colin said, you need a change, you want a change. Cipriani is the place for it. We have the experience. When you're talking about transitioning, upskilling, especially as adult learners, especially as somebody who's been in a particular field for a long time, we have the experience to transition you into a new area of study so that you can continue to remain employable, because that is also a key factor for a lot of people at this time. Maintaining employability, transitioning across sectors, new areas coming out, AI. How are we dealing with those things? So we are tackling those areas and integrating them into our programs in a concrete way that will benefit our students as they pass through the institution.
Colin, Atkins, appreciate you guys being on the program to talk us through both open days, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
And happy Diamond Jubilee as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, Colin Bartholomew and Atkins Vidal talking to us here on the Morning Brew. Cipriani College of Labour will be hosting 2 open days, not this Friday, next Friday. That's the 21st of August at their Valsayn campus. And then they move across to Tobago a week later on August 28th for the second open day. Even if you are unsure, even if you're not certain, even if you have some doubts, even if you're saying, well, I'm not really sure this is going to be for me, have the conversation at these open days. It may lead to somewhere very, very special. Let's take a break here on The Brew. We'll be right back.
Ever wonder how the way you start your day can make all the difference? Tired of waking up struggling with congestion? Without Neomed Sinus Rinse, you are likely to battle with nasal congestion, impacting energy levels and overall well-being. The choice is clear. A great morning starts with Neomed Sinus Rinse. Now I can't imagine starting my day without it. All natural sinus relief.
Tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
Welcome to the #1 development in the central area, Avidan Residences. Located Kulahal Road, which is literally 15 seconds on and off the highway. Close to all your amenities. All homes include remote gate systems, parking for 2 vehicles, with a spacious living room area and a very modern kitchen. The house is completely covered in porcelain tiles, fully AC, gypsum ceiling, and water heating systems. With 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a master bedroom with its own walk-in closet. Give us a call, WhatsApp, or visit our social media platforms and get one step closer to your dream home.
The Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, teaching the truth about God's people, God's plans, and the secrets of God, all written within the pages of the Holy Bible, which is the Word of God. Watch The Hidden Truth every Thursday at 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. on CNC3.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
I will work hard. I pledge to serve my country, to give us a brand new start.
Welcome back, and I have the pleasure of welcoming back to the program Dr. Catherine Minto-Bain, who's the Medical Director and Fertility Doctor at the Trinidad and Tobago IVF and Fertility Center, based right here in Trinidad and Tobago, and offers a full range of world-class fertility solutions for couples having trouble conceiving babies. Today, Dr. Catherine, we are going to be talking about endometriosis, and we'll be answering some patient questions as well on how endo can affect the chances of actually having a baby. Dr. Minto-Bain, I'll start by asking you to explain to the public, what is endometriosis?
Ryan, you can pronounce the word. I'm so impressed. Endometriosis, it's a really common medical condition that lots of women, 1 in 10 women, suffer with. And it's basically when a woman has a period and she bleeds through the vagina, that is the lining of the womb shedding because she wasn't pregnant. And it thickens and then it breaks down and comes away every month. And bits of that tissue can, for some reason, start growing elsewhere in the body, commonly inside your belly. And when something is growing and bleeding in the wrong place, it can cause symptoms. And the classic one is pain. Really bad pain with your periods, which is not normal, or really bad pain with sexual intercourse, or even pain when you're passing urine or having a bowel motion. It can cause other problems as well, but that's endometriosis, and that's what I want to talk about today. Really, really common. 1 in 10 women, so everyone you and I know, everyone knows someone who is dealing with it. And it starts in teenage years, it goes right through to the menopause. It can even still cause problems after the menopause because of the scar tissue that forms.
And endometriosis can affect fertility.
Absolutely. So it causes all of these pain issues, but then the bleeding and the scar tissue can do a variety of things. It can block tubes. Tubes could be open but no longer working because of damage. It can get inside the ovaries, and it can cause all sorts of chemical imbalances that upset the sperm and egg. So yes, half of women who are dealing with it are going to have infertility. And the strange thing is that some women who have it, and we see it when we do surgery, we see these little spots, and sometimes they're white, sometimes they're pink, sometimes they're brown, sometimes you can't even see it. We see the scar tissue. Some women have it and they didn't even have any symptoms, so it can be silent.
You did promise, Dr. Minto-Bain, that we'll answer some patient questions. So I do want to ask a couple. Our first question is from a patient who says, this is me quoting, "I'm 30 years old and I've been diagnosed with endometriosis. My doctor says I may have problems having a baby. What should I do?"
So this is fabulous because young women are now getting the diagnosis because doctors are more aware, the public is more aware. It used to take 10 to 15 years for a woman to get believed and diagnosed, so we didn't see 30-year-olds with a diagnosis. And just to say, the diagnosis used to be keyhole surgery, but now there's a very simple genetic test. You can spit into a tube, we do that at TT-IVF, and you get your diagnosis. So there's no more surgery, invasive tests, it can be diagnosed very easily. And for her, she could well have problems. She probably presented with pain, which is why her GP or her gynecologist found it. But for half of women, there's also this hidden problem. It gets to your eggs, and it seems to affect your eggs somehow. So half of women with endo are going to have problems with egg quality, lower numbers of eggs, eggs that aren't so good at making a baby. So yes, she's got a 50-50 chance she's going to have a problem. and it's going to be more difficult for her, even at maybe 32, 33, to have a baby. So we would talk to her about whether she wants to egg freeze, put some eggs in the freezer now when they're younger and healthier, because she has a 50-50 chance she could have problems, and she's preparing for that, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Our next question is from another patient, also diagnosed with endometriosis. She wants to know what fertility treatment options there are in this country for her. She specifically asks whether IVF is the only option to help her have a baby.
And the good news is no, you don't have to do IVF, particularly if we see you early on. So earlier diagnosis, doctors thinking about, oh, this could be endometriosis, making the diagnosis early, not missing it. Particularly if people are suffering with symptoms that seem like endometriosis. We've been putting some of the graphics up on the screen so you can see, come and see a fertility doctor early. Because sometimes you just need to grow eggs. You also need to check the guy and make sure he's got good sperm. And a lot of people will get pregnant with simple treatments like insemination, because they may have one damaged tube, one open tube. They may want to egg freeze for the future because they're not ready now. And then when it's quite severe, grade 3, 4 endometriosis, yes, IVF is what you're looking at, because your tube's usually no longer working. Even if they're open, they're very damaged. And so usually you need IVF to get the sperm and egg together. So a whole range of options. Women have actually lots of options these days.
Doc, our next patient is 43 years old and asks, is there any hope for me? I have endo, fibroids, and I've had a thyroidectomy.
So 43 years old. Ryan, do you have an idea of how easy or difficult it might be for a woman to get a baby at 43?
I think it might be on the more difficult end.
It's really difficult, yes. And she's saying, is there any hope for me? Because she's been listening, she's been researching. Most women don't really understand that of all the eggs you're born with, the best ones are in your 20s. You've still got good eggs in your 30s. But at 32, 1 in every 4 eggs would make a baby, so you tend to get pregnant every 4 months. But by the time you're 40, it's 1 in every 12 eggs that will make a baby. So you get 1 good egg a year at the age of 40, and it lasts 12 hours. 12 hours in a year, that's it. That's your fertility potential. By 43, it's more like 1 in every 50 eggs would make a baby. And you only get 12 a year. So most women are naturally infertile at 43, and it's natural to have infertility from somewhere between 40 to 43. That's where women just seem to stop having babies if we're not using contraception and just letting ourselves have babies. So she's got age problems, making it very difficult. She's had a thyroidectomy, that's her thyroid removed. Thyroid is very important for eggs and fertility. And she's got endometriosis. And thyroid issues and endo seem to go hand in hand because there may be some sort of immune basis for endometriosis. We know it's caused genetically, the medical condition. So she's got a whole stack of problems, but she very cleverly came straight through to the clinic. She's like, I'm newly married, I'm 43, my doctor wasn't sure what to do, I'm here, help me. And so she's got the best chance, and there are options, and she's actually thinking about donor eggs.
Wow. One last question, Dr. Catherine. This patient wants to know what supplements she can use to treat her endometriosis and give her a better chance of conceiving.
And everybody would love that. And I would love a supplement or a tablet that cures or reduces endometriosis, but the reality is there isn't one. And when somebody finds something that can cure endometriosis, they will get the Nobel Prize for Medicine because it would be a game changer. We don't even know what causes it. We suspect it's a malfunction in a woman's immune system, but we're light years from even understanding what's causing it. Supplements are just, they're not medicines, they're not very well tested. You can put anything on the bottle that says, hey, I'm fantastic for XYZ, and there's loads of supplements sold to women with endo, and most of them after 5 or 10 years come along to the clinic saying nothing has worked. And that's because it's not as simple as what you're putting into your tummy. But don't spend your money on supplements, just eat a really good diet. I think an anti-inflammatory diet, loads of fruits, veg, grains, healthy proteins, less processed food might help you. But at the end of the day, it seems to be deeper than that. It's not what you're doing wrong.
Dr. Catherine Minto-Bain, appreciate you being on the program and talking us through a really important topic.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. I always love being on CNC3 with you guys.
Dr. Catherine Minto-Bain, Medical Director and Fertility Doctor at Trinidad and Tobago's IVF and Fertility Center, talking to us about a very important topic, endometriosis. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap the show with our CPL T20 2026 segment, The Breakfast Show. It starts next.
Now that she needs me, I will work hard. I pledge to serve my country.
You can tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
The biggest party in sport is back. Catch every TKR match live and exclusively on CNC3, August 7th through September 20th. You don't want to miss the action. The Republic Bank CPL 2026, only on CNC3. Passion, energy, and cricket live here. Brought to you by
textbooks, screens, late nights. Your eyes work hard through every class, exam, project, and deadline. Ferrara Optical has eyewear specifically designed to reduce eye strain so nothing holds your learning back. For a limited time, youth get a free frame with lenses from just $495. Scholars get frame and lenses starting at only $750. And lifelong learners save up to 30% off your purchase of advanced lenses like Eisen and Transitions. Less strain, more focus. Your vision without limits. Visit Ferrara Optical in store today. This promotion is NLCB approved.
Live Caribbean Premier League, only on CNC3. The biggest parties on CNC3. We've secured the broadcast rights to the Caribbean Premier League, bringing you every TKR match live. To make room for the action, CNC3 News will air earlier on selected match days. Watch for our daily reminders on air and follow CNC3 on social media for the latest broadcast times, so you don't miss the stories that matter. Stay with us for every run, every wicket, every unforgettable CPL moment, only on CNC3. Follow CNC3 on social media for the full broadcast schedule. CNC3, your news, your cricket.
And welcome to The Breakfast Show. I'm Ryan Beachu. What an epic start to the Caribbean Premier League 2026 it has been. Last night, let's roll the highlights. There was this really great game. Over 400 runs scored between the Barbados Royals and the Jamaica Kingsmen. Barbados posted 206 for 3. Great score, right? Brandon King scoring 73. Quinton de Kock, wicket-keeper, 33 years old, 42 runs. And Shafane Rutherford hitting 50 not out. And then the Jamaica Kingsmen, almost looking like they would chase that score down. Andre Russell scoring, how much did he score? Andre Russell scored 68 from 38 balls. Ruffman Powell, the captain, scored 38. Casey Carty scored 42. It all looked so good for the Jamaica Kingsmen. So good. They would ultimately fall by just 5 runs. But this was a really great game. 400 runs scored in that game. The CPL, after that epic opening finale, where there was a last ball thriller, continues to throw up some fantastic matches. It's the most important T20 tournament for a very important T20 nation in the West Indies, really. I have the opportunity to interview this morning Michael Hall. His role in, we're going to talk about his role in expanding the CPL and its operations. Michael, welcome to the program. Great to have you here.
Thanks very much, Ryan.
How have you been enjoying this year's CPL, Michael? I can't remember the last time we've had so many back-to-back epic games all in a row.
You know, Ryan, this is my 13th year at the Caribbean Premier League, so I'm approaching 450 games as tournament director. But I cannot recall in the history of the CPL that in the first 4 games, 3 of them have gone down to the final ball. So we're off to a great start this year, certainly with the product on the field and the excitement for the fans.
Yeah, Michael, you're the tournament director, and you've played an instrumental role in the Caribbean Premier League for over a decade. Tell me a little bit about your role and how challenging it might be to put on this tournament every year.
Yeah, geez, how long we have for the interview, Ryan? Yeah, look, it is a huge challenge. You know, the CPL takes place, unlike every other franchise league in the world, the CPL takes place across multiple countries, each with its own rules and regulations and customs and immigration, etc., etc. So every year we start with putting together a schedule of games once we know how many teams we'll have and so on. And then it's all about putting that schedule of games and branching off from it so that we understand everything that we have to do around it. When do we need a flight? When do we need hotel rooms? When do we need the venues to be available, etc.? And my role really is to stitch that all together and create, you know, what you and the other fans around the region see every year. There's lots of stuff happening in the background, I can assure you.
Yeah, Michael, you've got to be a really great tailor to stitch that together, because you're not dealing with islands that are connected by bridges, and you can have a team travel by train or even by, you know, a coach, a luxury coach. You have to find transportation via air bridge in a part of the world that's really lacking in the infrastructure when it comes to an air bridge. That makes the CPL so much more challenging and unique.
Absolutely, Ryan. You know, we are certainly this year, and just as a quick backstory, we've expanded our footprint across the Caribbean this year, right? So we are playing matches in 8 venues, even though we only have 7 teams. We did play some neutral games in St. Vincent to kick the tournament off, which is another story in and of itself. Clearly, teams have to move almost daily throughout the 45-day period that the tournament takes place, or 42 days rather. And as you say, commercial airlift is limited in terms of options and in terms of the venues that we go to and the times of day that we need to travel, etc. So, as you might imagine, it involves putting together or finding partners that will work with us to put together a charter flight program that suits our needs and is tailored specifically to the needs of the tournament. It's a simple formula. I won't get into it. No, but not really simple. Simple for me because I've been doing it for so many years. But it takes quite a bit of planning, quite a bit of negotiation with our partners. We have a great set of partners this year who have come together to put together the flight program that we need. So a quick example. This morning at 11 o'clock, the Barbados Tridents who played last night get on a charter flight and head to their next game destination, which is St. Lucia. When the aircraft gets there, it stays there so that after tonight's game, when the Patriots play the St. Lucia Kings, they get on that same aircraft and come up to Kingston tomorrow, and so on and so forth. And so we have a flight program this year that involves around 55 different flights. Some of them are positioning flights, obviously, to get to when the next group of people have to travel. So yes, it is a logistical challenge of no mean order. I have a great team working with me, both in the host venues and certainly my colleagues at CPL. So we all pull together to try and bring to pull this off every year.
A couple interesting firsts, Michael. I'll get to the Jamaica team first, and then we'll talk about St. Vincent. For the first time in 7 years, a Jamaican franchise is competing in the CPL. What does that mean for the event?
Yeah, look, it's Jamaica coming back into the fold is great for the tournament. It reopens one of the biggest sort of commercial markets in the Caribbean. It reopens a market where some of the more passionate fans reside. I think an interesting backstory to Jamaica's return is that one of the reasons why the previous owners left was because they felt that there wasn't enough support from the government as exists in some of the other countries. And I think that the government, to their credit here in Jamaica, having really looked at the numbers over the past several years in terms of the economic impact for the other countries, and Jamaica looking perhaps to open their tourism market to new countries, maybe out of Asia and so on, where cricket is king. I think they saw the benefit and they're back on board, so credit to them for that. We're certainly happy to be back. I mean, some people might be able to tell from my accent that I'm a Jamaican. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's, I'm happy that they're back because I'm a Jamaican, but I'll tell you, what it means is that I get to spend a few days at home during the tournament for the first time in 7 years before heading on.
No, but more than that,
this thing is finished.
More than that, Michael, anybody will tell you that a strong West Indies cricket requires a strong Jamaica. Jamaica is too important and too integral to West Indies cricket, and this is a West Indies cricket tournament, right? It's too important Jamaica is too important to West Indies cricket not to be involved in any type of cricket that we're having. The other first I want to talk to you about, and I must be honest with you, it filled me with great pride to see the CPL start in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Why? Because it really came full circle that this is a truly Caribbean tournament, and every island, whether you have a franchise or not, are able to be part of this very important T20 tournament. And so I congratulate the organizers for taking such a brave decision. And what type of reviews, responses have you gotten since that opening match?
Yeah, well, Ryan, pardon me. I was, as the league's tournament director, I was obviously integral in the preparation and planning for the games in St. Vincent. And what I will say is this. Yes, I echo what you just said. Having another country in the Caribbean host this tournament just, strengthens the notion that this is a truly pan-Caribbean event that unifies the region. But I just want to pause here and say a big sort of congratulations and commendations to the local organizing committee in St. Vincent. We sort of agreed that this would happen, I want to say sometime in March, and they put together a fantastic local organizing committee that we work very closely with. I was in St. Vincent maybe 4 or 5 days prior to the games themselves, but obviously we would have met with the LOC several times in the intervening weeks and months. And they did a fantastic job. They had some great cricket. The first game of the tournament was a final ball thriller. There was another one for the third game there in St. Vincent. So, and the fans came out, the government was extremely supportive. So we're very, very happy that we were able to leave a mark on another Caribbean island, as you say, even if they don't have a franchise. But, you can't rule out anything with the CPL, right? We're a tournament of surprises. Who knows what might happen next year.
Tournament Director Michael Hall, appreciate you being on the program.
Thanks for having me, Brian, and you guys have a great day down there at TNT. Yeah?
Thank you so much. Michael Hall, the tournament director. And the tournament continues tonight. The St. Lucia Kings will be facing off against the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. Of course, we will have a replay of that match between Barbados and Jamaica. Don't forget to watch it at 1 p.m. And tonight, St. Lucia Kings versus the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots takes place at 7 p.m. Thank you so much for watching us here on The Morning Brew. On behalf of the team behind the scenes and me in front of the camera, have yourselves a great day. You're stuck with me again tomorrow, so see you then.
We have to unite, stand up and fight, and get it right. One day, sweet tea.
You're watching CNC3. As an affiliate of CNN International, we now join their current programming.
Maine, these are going to be the areas where you have the highest chance to see it.